Friday, August 25th, 2023. Topic: Wagner Group. Please pardon any visual and informational inaccuracies in this entirely AI-generated video.
Explore the origins of the Wagner Group, a Russian private military company, reportedly founded and financed by Yevgeny Prigozhin, with Dmitry Utkin as its military commander. The Wagner Group, a private military company involved in the Russian annexation of Crimea, was reportedly founded by Dmitry Utkin and Yevgeny Prigozhin. Prigozhin, who claimed to have founded the group during the Russian invasion of Ukraine, is believed to be its financier, while Utkin is considered its military commander. Businessman Yevgeny Prigozhin, often referred to as Putin's chef, has admitted to founding the Wagner Group, a Russian private military company. Previously denying any connection, Prigozhin claimed he personally prepared the group's initial equipment and sought out specialists for assistance. Despite having no military background, he is now considered the public face of the group, with Dmitry Utkin reportedly commanding its military operations. Dmitry Utkin, a Russian military veteran and former Spetsnaz GRU unit commander, is widely regarded as the founder and first commander of the Wagner Group, a private military company. Utkin, who reportedly admired Nazi Germany, is named in EU sanctions against the group. He is believed to have been more of a field commander overseeing military operations, while financier Yevgeny Prigozhin was the group's owner and public face. Utkin was photographed with President Putin at a Kremlin reception in 2016. Colonel Konstantin Alexandrovich Pikalov, a former officer in Russia's experimental military unit, was reportedly put in charge of Wagner's African operations in 2019. He allegedly participated in military operations in Ukraine and Syria, and was involved in suppressing opponents of the Russian-backed president of Republika Srpska, Milorad Dodik, during the 2014 general election. Pikalov also ran a private detective agency post-retirement. The Wagner Group, a private military company, has grown from 1,000 employees in 2016 to 6,000 by December 2017. The organization, registered in Argentina, has offices in St. Petersburg, Hong Kong, and 20 African countries. The group is reportedly run by Prigozhin and is not under the control of the GRU or the Ministry of Defense. The company's complex structure has made it difficult for Western governments to restrict its activities. The Wagner Group, a private military contractor, PMC, trains its personnel at a Russian Ministry of Defense, MOD, facility. The company recruits from 15 different countries, with the majority from Russia, and the average age of a contractor is 40. Recruits are required to maintain strict confidentiality and surrender personal documents. They receive a monthly salary of $1,100 during training. The Russian government has reportedly used the Wagner Group for recruitment amid increasing casualties in the Ukraine war, even allegedly attempting to recruit from Russian prisons. The Wagner Group's Rusik unit, a far-right extremist group, has been fighting with Russian separatist forces in eastern Ukraine. Founded by Alexei Milchikov and Yan Petrovsky in 2014, the group is under investigation by the Ukrainian Prosecutor General and the International Criminal Court for alleged war crimes committed in Ukraine. Wagner, a Russian private military company, is believed to have a Serb unit led by Davor Savicic, a Bosnian Serb veteran of the Bosnian and Kosovo wars. Savicic was reportedly involved in the first offensive to capture Palmyra from ISIL in 2016. In 2023, Serbian President Aleksandar Vučić criticized Wagner for recruiting Serbian nationals, noting it's illegal for Serbian citizens to participate in foreign armed conflicts. Russian President Vladimir Putin has confirmed that the Russian state fully funds the Wagner Group, a private military company, from the country's defense and state budgets. This contradicts previous denials of any links between the Russian state and the group. From May 2022 to May 2023, the Russian state paid the group approximately $1 billion. The legal status of private military companies in Russia is unclear, with legislation prohibiting illegal armed formations and mercenary groups, but not prosecuting numerous PMCs operating in Russia. The Russian government has accused Prigozhin, founder of the Wagner Group, of organizing an armed uprising against Russian forces. This follows a threat by Prigozhin to attack Russian forces in response to an alleged airstrike on his paramilitary soldiers. The Russian security forces have filed criminal charges against Prigozhin and moved to arrest him. Despite previous denials, President Putin has admitted that the Wagner Group is fully funded by Russia. The Wagner Group, a Russian private military company, has operated in at least 10 countries across Europe, Africa, and South America. In August 2023, 2 Russians were arrested in Poland for distributing Wagner recruitment materials. They reportedly received 500,000 RUB from Russia for placing over 300 propaganda items in public places in Poland. The Russian private military company Wagner has been instrumental in the invasion of Ukraine, reportedly assassinating Ukrainian leaders and recruiting Russian prisoners for combat. The U.S. National Security Council claimed Wagner had 50,000 fighters in Ukraine, including 10,000 contractors and 40,000 convicts. In 2023, Russia granted combat veteran status to Wagner contractors involved in the invasion. Wagner PMCs, a Russian private military company, were first active in Crimea during Russia's 2014 annexation of the peninsula. They operated alongside regular Russian army units, disarming the Ukrainian army and taking control of facilities. After Crimea, some 300 PMCs went to the Donbas region of eastern Ukraine, where they helped pro-Russian forces destabilize government security forces. The PMCs reportedly took part in major conflicts and were given assignments to kill dissident pro-Russian commanders. They left Ukraine in 2015 with the start of the Russian military intervention in the Syrian civil war. The Wagner Group, a Russian private military company, reportedly flew in over 400 contractors to assassinate Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and his government in preparation for Russia's invasion of Ukraine in February 2022. The group also trained Russian servicemen and recruited inmates from Russian prisons to participate in the invasion. By 2023, these recruited prisoners made up approximately 80% of Wagner's manpower. The group was involved in several battles, including the capture of the salt mine town of Soledar in January 2023. Ahead of the 2020 presidential election in Belarus, 33 Wagner contractors were arrested on suspicion of planning to destabilize the election. The contractors were reportedly on their way to Sudan, but Russia claimed they were in Belarus due to a missed flight. The contractors were returned to Russia 2 weeks later. Russian media reported that the Ukrainian security service had lured the contractors to Belarus with a fake contract, planning to arrest them once their plane entered Ukrainian airspace. This operation was allegedly planned for a year but failed due to being postponed by the Ukrainian president's office. Russian journalist Maxim Borodin, known for his reporting on the deaths of Wagner PMCs in Syria, died in 2018 after falling from his balcony. In 2023, Wagner forces, led by Prigozhin, launched a rebellion against the Russian military, seizing Rostov-on-Don and heading towards Moscow. The rebellion was stopped by a deal brokered by Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko. The Wagner Group, a private military company, PMC, reportedly employed by the Russian Defense Ministry, has been involved in the Syrian civil war since October 2015. Despite PMCs being illegal in Russia, the group has participated in several offensives, including the Battle of Deir ez-Zor, where they confronted U.S. air power. The group also trained a Syrian army unit called the ISIS Hunters. As of late December 2021, Wagner PMCs were still involved in military operations against ISIL cells in Syria. The Syrian Observatory for Human Rights reported that 266 Russian PMCs were killed in Syria during the civil war. The Wagner Group, a Russian private military company, has been active in Africa since 2017, providing security to various regimes. In exchange, Russian and Wagner-linked firms have gained access to natural resources like gold and diamond mines, while Russia has secured strategic locations like air bases and ports. This has led to a form of state capture, increasing Russia's influence over these states. The group has provided security in Madagascar's 2018 presidential election and assisted Mozambique's armed forces against an Islamist insurgency since 2019. The Wagner Group, a Russian private military company, PMC, has been involved in Sudan since 2017, supporting the country militarily and protecting its mines. Despite political changes in Sudan, Russia has continued to support the country's transitional government and uphold contracts in defense, mining, and energy sectors. The Wagner Group's activities have expanded, including mining operations and attempts to build a naval base on the Red Sea. The group has faced international condemnation for its actions. The Wagner Group, a Russian private military company, has been accused of committing a massacre in the Central African Republic, car in 2021, involving torture and killing, including of pregnant women. The group has been present in the car since 2018, reportedly protecting mines and the president. Concerns have been raised about Russia's growing influence in Africa and its disregard for international law. The Wagner Group also reportedly controls the Diamville Diamond Trading Company and much of the timber industry in the car. Russian military group Wagner has been supporting Libyan National Army LNA leader Field Marshal Khalifa Haftar since 2018, providing training and military equipment. By March 2019, around 300 Wagner personnel were in Benghazi, helping the LNA capture towns and oil fields. Despite increasing to 1,400 personnel by November, the LNA's offensive on Tripoli stalled. The U.S. is preparing sanctions against Wagner after a U.S. drone was shot down. In June 2020, the Government of National Accord recaptured Tripoli, leading to a ceasefire in October. The Wagner Group, a Russian private military company, is reportedly operating in Mali, despite warnings from France, the UK, the EU, and Ivory Coast. Since September 2021, Mali has received military equipment and Russian advisors. In April 2022, Human Rights Watch accused Malian soldiers and Russian PMCs of executing around 300 civilians during a military operation against Islamic militants in the Mopti region. In January 2019, Wagner private military contractors, PMCs, were reportedly sent to Venezuela to provide security for President Nicolas Maduro during a political crisis. A local paramilitary group leader suggested around 400 contractors may have been in Venezuela at the time. An anonymous source close to the Wagner Group claimed another group of PMCs had arrived before the May 2018 presidential election to protect Russian business interests and train Venezuelan paramilitaries. The Russian ambassador to Venezuela denied these reports. In March 2023, amid rumors of Russia planning to overthrow the Moldovan government, the Moldovan border police detained and deported a suspected member of the Wagner Group at Chisinau Airport. This followed an anti-government protest in the country. Reports suggest that Russian private military contractors, PMCs, from the Wagner Group were deployed to support the Republic of Artsakh against Azerbaijan during the 2020 Nagorno-Karabakh War. However, investigative site Bellingcat disputed this, citing images posted by Russian PMCs as unrelated. Post-war, it was claimed that Wagner PMCs played a significant role in preserving Armenian-controlled territory. The number of PMCs involved is disputed, with estimates ranging from 300 to 500. A Russian news video alleging Serbian volunteers are being trained by the Wagner Group to fight in Ukraine has sparked controversy in Serbia. Serbian President Aleksandar Vučić questioned why the group would involve Serbians, given it's illegal for them to participate in foreign conflicts. Leaked U.S. intelligence suggests Russian private military company Wagner is looking to expand operations into Haiti, offering to combat gangs for the government. In June 2023, an email from Wagner indicated plans involving the Chatham Islands, east of New Zealand, following a TV interview with a map showing a pin on the islands. Families of killed private military contractors, PMCs, are forbidden from speaking to the media under a non-disclosure agreement required for compensation. The standard payout for a killed Wagner employee is up to 5 million rubles, $80,000, according to a Wagner official. However, the girlfriend of a killed fighter claimed families are paid between $22,500 and $52,000, depending on the PMC's rank and mission. In 2018, Russian military veterans called on the government to acknowledge sending PMCs to fight in Syria to secure benefits for PMCs and their families. The Wagner Group, a Russian private military company, has been sanctioned by the US, EU, UK, Canada, Australia, Japan, Switzerland, and New Zealand for its involvement in conflicts in Ukraine, Libya, Syria, and the Central African Republic. The U.S. plans to designate Wagner as a significant transnational criminal organization for further sanctions. The U.S. is also pressuring Sudan and Libya to sever ties with Wagner. The OSCE has recognized Wagner as a terrorist organization and Russia as a state sponsor of terrorism. The Wagner Group, a network of mercenaries linked to the Russian security state, has been associated with far-right extremism, including white supremacy and neo-Nazism. Its first commander, Dmitry Utkin, is reportedly a neo-Nazi. The group's name is believed to come from Utkin's call sign Wagner, chosen due to his admiration for the Third Reich. Despite these affiliations, the group is not driven by ideology, but is a mercenary network linked to the Russian state. Wagner PMCs have received state awards, including military decorations and certificates signed by Russian President Putin. Wagner commanders Andrei Bogatov and Andrei Troshev were awarded the Hero of the Russian Federation honor for assisting in the capture of Palmyra in 2016. Other members, Alexander Kuznetsov and Dmitry Utkin, reportedly won the Order of Courage 4 times. Family members of killed PMCs also received medals from Wagner. Monuments and a chapel have been erected in memory of the PMCs, and 2 films have been made about their missions. Vladimir Andanov, who was wanted for a murder in Libya, has reportedly been killed by a Ukrainian sniper in Ukraine. These articles and reports analyze Russia's use of private military and security companies, particularly the Wagner Group, as a tool of hybrid warfare and proxy conflict. They discuss the implications of this strategy for European and Norwegian security, the skills these mercenaries possess that regular armies lack, and the potential risks this approach could pose for Russia. In conclusion, the Wagner Group, a controversial private military company, is led by financier Yevgeny Prigozhin and military commander Dmitry Utkin, both closely linked to Russian political power.